We're in Paphos Harbour at Paphos Fort. Harbour, quite a breezy in the morning, quite pleasant, about 20 degrees, but a bit hazy. And there's the beautiful flowering poppies along the coastal walk here in Paphos. And the Grand Mosque here in Paphos. It used to be a Byzantine church and then was converted into a mosque. But it's now being restored. The Turkish baths.
On the two sides of the agora are the Turkish baths. Originally this dome-covered stone structure probably served as a church. After serving as a Turkish bath, some of the ruins were used to house a municipal museum. But when this moved to a new premises, the building stood empty. A period of neglect followed, but the building has been restored to its former glory.
It's in 1930, the church of
Agios Kendas. The exterior isn't particularly exciting, but the interior is worth a visit. Here you'll find a carved wooden iconostas, a bishop's throne and a number of 19th century icons.
Apart from the fact that it's locked up.
This is St Theodore's Cathedral, built in 1896. It's the oldest church in Katima and is as important for the Orthodox community as St John's Cathedral is in Nicosia. And behind you have
the Bishop's
Palace, where it's beautiful Byzantine style building as the residence of the Bishop of Paphos and the most important ecclesiastical building after Agios Theodoros. Built in 1910 by Laspros, the Bishop of Paphos. Bishop Chrysanthos subsequently extended the palace, furnishing it with beautiful arcades and allocating part of it to the Byzantine Museum.
And now it's a vestibules, as it says there.
Ecclesiastical.
And here at the castle in Limassol, where Richard the Lionheart was married in 1191. From the top of the castle, and looking out what would have been views of the defence, now has lots of buildings out to sea. And the views over the hill with the minarets. There's a very strange looking building across there, we don't know what it is, but we'll try and find out. See just about in the distance, very hazy mountains of Troodos. Inside castle, looking at the entrance or the window in the 14th century. And the mosque here in Limassol, the Grand Mosque. Quite built up now, but quite a nice building. Next to the castle, here we have the Carib Mills. Yes. And these are equipment used in the Carib Mills. The trees bear fruit after 8 years, and for the next 25 up to 30 years will yield about 25 kilos a tree. Here at Marina, all the wealth of the big boats here, and a few little ones as well. And at the coast, looking at all the boats, all the big boats going into the port here in Limassol. The wind gets up, and it gets a bit cool. Cathedral here in Limassol, consecrated to St Veronica. Church of Agianapa. Limassol Town Hall, 1930s Art Deco building with a clock that's 7 minutes fast.
It's situated in the centre of Limassol on a narrow street opposite the post office near Agianapa Cathedral. It was built as designed by the German architect Benjamin Gernsberg, based on the ancient Greek style of civic architecture. The columns by the entrance are redolent of the tombs of the kings of Paphos. Go with that.
Σ' άλλης γυναίκας αγκαλιά. Ω είμαι κι εσείς δυστυχισμένα μου παιδιά, που η μοίρα σας έγραψε χωρίς γονιό να ζείτε. Μα ω Θεοί, εγώ τρανήν απόφαση έχω πάρει για τον Ιάσονα, πικρήν εκδίκηση να δώσω.
Okay, it was a place for all the kind of exercises, for the athleticismus. As I told you, almost all the columns have been replaced because various earthquakes destroyed the area here. There were statues here as well. Fortunately, they fetched the statues to the Archaeological Museum in Nicosia a long time before the Turkish invasion. I would like to show you these two columns, the light pink color marble, they are original. Okay, 2nd century AD. They used to import the marble from abroad, from Greek islands, from Italy, from Egypt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a look in the front of us. They used to put the tiles on the floor, right, you see, and they used to make the fire between the tiles just to keep the water warm, right? And they use the temperature of the water gradually, like today's sauna. I mean, cold and then medium and then hot and then the opposite. And they used to call it Latin Caldarium, Frigidarium, Debitarium.
Salamis, the most ancient Roman Byzantine site in Cyprus. And these are the latrines where 44 people used to do their business, and in the middle here was aromatic oils and perfumes to clean them afterwards. And this is the gymnasium. The columns are reproductions as an earthquake destroyed the originals, but you can still see vestiges of the originals here in the middle of the site. From here in Salamis, we're looking up towards the very northern tip of Cyprus.
See, that gives Cyprus its distinctive shape.
Yeah.
Okay, at the moment, there's a beautiful church at say first one of the finest example of the Gothic architecture in the island, dated back to the 13th century, was dedicated to St. Nicholas. But immediately when the Ottomans occupied the island 16th century, 1571, they changed the church to the mosque. And since then they call Lala Mustafa Mosque. Now why this name? Because Lala Mustafa was the name of the general who was leader of the operation against the area here.
The former church of St Nicholas, now a mosque. Made a mosque in the Ottoman period. And St Nicholas's church, again on the edge of the square, and on the right, and across here, this is the Venetian Palace. And more of the Venetian Palace.
Typical of early Christian basilicas. The roof was brought down by a Turkish bombardment in the siege of Famagusta. To this day, the walls bear pockmarks of the cannon wounds. Legend says that a treasure belonging to St Epiphanos, Archbishop of Salamis, lies under the floor. Abutting the church to the south is a smaller church of Hagia Sophia. Fine style church, decorated with wall paintings, dates from about the 15th century. It stands in an empty square, surrounded by a handful of palm trees. Close by is a larger church of St Nicholas, which is now partially demolished. Is that cool?
Yeah. And there's the old church of St Nicholas. And the church of St Peter and Paul, which is now again turned into a mosque.
Well, it isn't really.
But it's more like a restoration project, and there's lots of pictures inside of various saints.
And places.
Yeah. This is St Francis Church. The Franciscans were very dominant in the time of the 14th century, patroned by Henry II of Cyprus. But the church fell into disrepair once again when the Ottomans arrived. And now it's just a load of ruins.
These two adjacent medieval churches are known as the Twins. On the north facade, above the entrance, you can see the staff coats of arms of the Knights Hospitalier. In the early 14th century, following the dissolution of the Knights Templar Order, their monastery and the chapel of St Anthony were handed over to the Order of St John of Jerusalem, the Knights Hospitalier. The Hospitalier's chapel, featuring a lovely rose window in the facade, now houses a theatre and an art gallery. Built in the late 13th century during the reign of the French King Louis XVI, the Church of St John was one of Famagusta's earliest churches. It's a fine example of Gothic architecture. Now larger in ruins, the original north wall with the presbytery, tall Gothic decorations. The capital of the surviving column is decorated with floral motifs and winged dragons.
And from the top of the city wall here in Famagusta, we'll look out to the port. That's alright. Various ships. There's Mrs. G taking photos. And the walls of the city. The main square and the main church and all the other disused churches that we've seen today. And we have Othello's Tower. The play by Shakespeare mentions Othello and mentions a port in Cyprus. And as this was the most famous port in Cyprus, we think that he was relating to Famagusta. Here in the Troodos Mountains, going toward the monastery of Kifu, temperature was about 10 degrees, which is about 10 degrees colder than is down there on the coast. Got beautiful views and beautiful mountains, and you can see across towards the coast.
And the north, that's
And then
North Cyprus.
North Cyprus.
The
The monastery of Kikos, here in the Troodos Mountains. Temperature 12 degrees, and somebody's had to put some trousers on because otherwise wouldn't get in. And the beautiful paintings here in the monastery. There's the sea between the land and the sky, and the Troodos Mountains, and
looking towards, you're definitely looking at the north there.
We pan round, you can see the flag of Cyprus in Greece and the statue of Archbishop Makarios and his burial place. And the view from Archbishop Makarios' tomb looking towards Mount Olympus on the Troodos Mountains. Very still, very quiet, but quite cool. And the church built on the tomb of Archbishop Makarios. Completion of the church.
See this one, I can see you on
The Cyprus Railway Museum. Miles from anywhere, but probably well worth a visit. This went from Nicosia through this, and this is the oldest preserved station on the line.
It begins in 1904. It's logical that the beginning of the story of the railway starts down Famagusta harbour, which was inevitably linked to the history and the fate of the Cyprus Railway. It was the starting point of the railway as it linked the harbour with Famagusta and the rest of the island. The Cyprus Railway officially opened for public transport on October 21st, 1905. The inauguration ceremony took place at Famagusta Station with the arrival of the High Commissioner, King Harman, on the first train from Nicosia, with crowds of people curious to witness the first journey of the Cyprus train.
And here we have a carriage on the Cyprus
Well, it's a mail.
Railway.
It's a mail one. You can see the mail strip. I don't have to read here.
I'm from almost the top of Mount Olympus, looking down to the coast, looking west.
I think it's towards Paphos.
We think that's towards Paphos, but it's absolutely freezing up here. Right at the top of Mount Olympus, the listening stations. It's now about 6 degrees, absolutely freezing with a t-shirt and shorts on.
for the night.
And at the top of the mountain there is snow.
Stephen, you have to take a picture.
I've taken a bloody picture. I'm looking down towards the coast from here at the top of the Troodos Mountains. It's going very misty and very cool as the sun goes down. Looking down the mountain towards Runasol.
There's a reservoir there as well.
And here in the Troodos Mountains we've come to the Caledonian waterfall. And the view from our bedroom here at the Atlantic Cape Golden Beach Hotel in Paphos on a semi-cloudy morning. Down to the pool and across to the breakfast area. And the monastery of Agios Kyrios. There is the church carved out of the rock.
Where he himself,
Nikiatos lived. And the view from the church looking towards the monastery. In the hills.
Quite a lot of shoring up going on here.
Polis town centre, or Polis,
Orange juice is cheapy.
but very quiet here on a Saturday with kids using fireworks near the 16th century church, which is closed. And now at Aphrodite's Baths, doing a walk up to the summit.
And the Arkansas Peninsula.
Yeah. And in the distance, is that Northern Cyprus or the other side of that's John?
Well, it could be the little conclave, but no, not particularly. It's not quite.
Our last full day on when the sun's about to start to set. This is Lachi on the north coast. We just returned from our hike at Aphrodite's Baths. And this is the harbour. And the setting sun. Looking over towards the north of Cyprus.
Polis, and I think you're going past Polis here. Yeah, Polis and all there, it's further towards the enclave. I mean, you've got Troodos there as well.
Yeah, just about see him in through the mist.
Yeah, I think we're definitely being above the cloud today.
And at the top of the mountain on our way home to Paphos, trying to capture a setting sun with the sun just above or between the clouds as it drops down into the sea.
But the reflection's already on this.
And we see the setting sun here above Polis on our way back to Paphos. And on our last day, and we have somebody swimming. A bit chilly, but too bad. And without doubt the best day today. Looking back over towards the hotel, no less cloudless skies and very clear. Now at 5 o'clock, as we say our last farewells to Atlantica hotels, just going to have our evening meal and then get into the car to take it back to the airport and back to England. Been a lovely week. Weather could have been a little bit better, but today's been a gloriously warm sunny day and we have enjoyed ourselves sitting here by the pool. And finally the setting sun here at our hotel. Probably the nicest sunset we've had all week. It's on the last day.